right now on the line we have a wonderful, wonderful guest. His name is Tim David. He got his start in the world of magic. Tim, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Taylor, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Tim, you got your start as a magician, and you've turned that into remembering some wonderful things and using kind of the Jedi mind tricks, if you will, in order to unlock some secrets of the mind. You've written a book called Magic Words, The Science and Secrets Behind 7 Words That Motivate, Engage, and Influence. Would you mind giving us a bit of your backstory, Tim, and telling us what inspired you to really get into a different world, separate from illusion, but going into the magic of the mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting out as a kid, I was interested in magic. You know, I got a hand-me-down magic book from my older brother, Chris, and really took an interest in it. But I was never interested really in the sleight of hand piece of it. I was more interested in what was going on inside someone's mind, you know, the psychology behind it. How can they look at this thing that I'm doing and just not see it in the right way? How is this illusion created? So that drew me to a branch of magic called mentalism. And mentalism is, I'm not psychic. You know, I don't have any supernatural abilities. I don't read minds. I read people. I also don't predict the future. I influence the present. And to do that, I need to use my communication skills to create experiences for my audiences. And that's what I found most interesting to me. Night after night, city after city, I would find that subtle changes in my script would make big differences in the audience's reaction. A single word here might get a standing ovation versus not using that word. So that led me to believe, hey, maybe this stuff is really, really more powerful than even I thought it was.
You know, watching different magicians, illusionists, and people like yourself, Tim, throughout the years, a lot of it, I mean, I would say 90% of what people like you do is all about presentation and how you present an idea to the audience. How much of a role does that really play?
You're 100% on the money. It's really about whether or not I can connect with the audience. And ultimately, that is true for your job. You're in the entertainment business. It's true for your listeners. If they're in sales, their job is to truly connect with their prospects rather than just viewing them as another commission. If they are teachers, it's their job to connect with the students rather than just teaching to a test. If they're doctors, they need to connect with patients. Managers need to connect with their employees. This is truly the skill that's in demand right now, and the problem is it's disappearing from our culture. The quantity of human connection has gone through the roof with technology, but as that's happened, what have you noticed happening to the quality of human connection?
Oh, well, I mean, this is it right now. We're on the phone. I've never seen your face, Tim. That's it right there. But you know, people are always looking on their phones. So as we,
I mean, we use words, you know, more than anything else. We're texting, we're emailing, we're on social media. We don't have the body language and the nonverbal as much as we used to.
Exactly. So I mean, as we continue to move forward and bringing what you've learned in your career and transposing that into different careers. How is it that somebody like a manager is able to get maybe a little more motivation into their employees using some of the terms and the stylistics that you've implemented in your field of choice?
Sure. I mean, I can tip right into 2 of the magic words right now. But the fundamental truth with all magic words is a phrase, authenticity trumps everything. None of these words are to be used as manipulative tools. They are powerful enough. The problem is when you do that, you only have success in the short term rather than the long term. And a manager needs to sustain a relationship. And again, the idea here is to build human connection rather than tear it apart. But every single interaction you have with your employees is an opportunity to do that. So one of the examples, and this is the one that, the New York Times, the Huffington Post, the Today Show, they've all been talking about this word as seemingly the most powerful word in the book. That's, of course, their opinion, and I think it is a very powerful word, and that is the word because. And this is a simple word. We use it every single day, and it's deceptively simple, like a lot of magic tricks. You know, they're simple on the surface, especially once you know the secret, but it's truthfully the other areas that make this word so powerful. So, for example, it's not just a word, but it really is about purpose. It's about meaning. It's about a reason why we do something. So if you're a manager, you want to tell your employees to do something, it's great to give them a reason why, but science has also shown that if you take away the word because, they're far less likely to do it. So make sure as you're giving them that reason to put that word because in there, slip it in, and they are much more likely to be compliant and to be engaged in that task. So that's the first magic word, because.
I know, Tim, that when my mother used that word all the time, "Ma, why should I have to do that?" And she said, "Because." And that was it. And
because I
was
said
on
so.
It. Yeah, that one. So
Parents
why is it?
know
Why
that,
is
don't
it?
they?
Oh, they absolutely do. Why is it that that word has so much influence and so much power?
Ever since you're 2 years old, you're looking for causality. You ever meet a 2-year-old, what do they always say? Why? 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 Over and over and over again. They play the why game, and it drives adults crazy. You know, they ask if they can have a candy bar, and in 5 minutes you're talking about, the Earth's gravitational pull on the moon. Like you're trying to give explanations for like everything in the universe because they never ever stop asking why. And the truth is, their brain, their left hemisphere is kicking on at that age, and they're beginning to find cause and effect. And cause and effect is very important to adult human beings and even to children, and this is why this word is so powerful. We need to understand what's the cause and how does it lead to the effect, and what's the purpose, what's the reasoning behind this.
What is another magic word that is almost as important as because?
Well, it's so hard to pick. My favorite word is probably the word thanks. But in a managerial setting, I think we could talk about the word help. And this is something a lot of people struggle with. Managers, especially new managers, I do a lot of management training, and new managers tend to want to have all the answers. They tend to want to know what's going on and be in charge and earn that respect and fake it till they make it, and all these things. And the problem is we need to spend less time trying to prove ourselves and more time trying to improve ourselves. And we do that by asking for help, asking for advice, asking for input. And not only does that happen, but it fosters engagement. Rather than saying, do this because I said so, that's going for compliance. When you say, I need your help, now you're going for engagement. And that's much more compelling, much more powerful. And it makes you vulnerable. And vulnerability is true confidence.
Absolutely. We're speaking with Tim David, the top mentalist in North America, and he's written a book entitled Magic Words, The Science and Secrets Behind 7 Words That Motivate, Engage, and Influence. What led you, Tim, to discover that these were the 7 magic words?
Lots and lots of research, lots and lots of trial and error, lots of different trainings around the country, talking to different people, interviewing social psychologists and neuroscientists, and reading and just trying to figure out, okay, what are the real core human drives? And that's what these words really represent. It's not just about what we say. It's not just about how we say it. Is what is the impact that these words are having on the human brain, and why are these words so significant? So yes is about significance. It's about acceptance. It's about agreement. The word because is about purpose and meaning. The word thanks is about gratitude. The word if is about freedom of choice. These are all deep human needs that we all have, and I kind of reverse engineered looking at the human brain, figuring out what it needs, what it wants, what it desires, and then went backwards from there and said, what are the words that can tap into those things?
Exactly. Tim, if folks want to look you up on YouTube, where do they go?
Well, I think the best place to go is magicwordsbook.com. There's a video right on there that will use a magic word to trick your brain. You know it's coming. You know what I'm doing, but it's going to trick your brain anyway. So if you go to magicwordsbook.com, that video is there. There's also some shocking graphs about what's happened to human empathy over the past 30 years, and just some purpose and explanation behind what's in the book, as well as an opportunity to pick up a copy and get some free goodies along with it this week during launch week.
Are these words that can just be transposed into the managerial sense? What other ways of life can we implement these?
I got 2 kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I use this stuff all day, long. Obviously, we want to influence our children, and I think parents need to be more influential in their children's lives. It's not about, controlling them. It's about raising them to be healthy, happy, mature adults who make wise choices and contribute to society, et cetera, et cetera. That's our job definition as parents. So these are words that can be used in the parenting relationship. These are words that can be used in romantic relationships. These are where anybody who deals with people, I think, is really people who can benefit from these words and from these human connection strategies.
Awesome. Once again, the website, Tim, is?
MagicWordsBook.com.
MagicWordsBook.com. Thank you so much, Tim. It's been a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Taylor.